I got 7.
Need to come to order. Clerk call the roll.
Mayor Manning.
Present.
Councilman Petroselli.
Present.
Councilman McGrady.
Present.
Would the clerk please read the minutes from our previous meeting?
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I second that.
Accepting as written. Call the roll.
Councilman Petroselli.
In favor.
Councilman McGrady.
In favor.
Mayor Manning.
In favor. Reports from officers and committees.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight we will have our second of 7 2018 Departmental Year in Review presentations. Tonight we will have the General Services Department, which consists of sanitation, highway, and the recreation departments, and the supervisors will be presenting. Unfortunately, Chris Dawes could not be here tonight, so I will be handling the duties of Chris and providing the information on the sanitation department, and then Mark and Bob can pitch in with their parts as well. The sanitation department is a 7-man department. All operations and general services work together. Within that department is supervisor, once again, who is Chris Dawes. There are 2 drivers. One is labeled in the as a title as the MEO1, and MEL, which is mechanical equipment operators, and 4 throwers, which are the guys on the back of the trucks that throw the garbage and recycling into the trucks. We currently have 3 trucks in the department. 2 of them are 10 years or older, and 1 of them is just 2 years old, which we consider our new truck. Garbage and recycling is collected 4 days a week in 4 separated districts throughout the city. In 2018, we collected 3,435 tons of garbage and collected 492 tons of recycling. Yard waste is collected every Friday from April 1st until December 1st, and this year we collected a total of approximately 800 yards of yard waste. Also, from December through usually the mid-February to end of February, we also pick up Christmas trees, and this past year we picked up 400 Christmas trees as well. In 2018, the sanitation department held 2 bulk weeks, one in April and one in October. They picked up 233 ton in April and 194 ton in October. Also held an electronic recycling day in the spring. On the electronic recycling day, 208 TVs were disposed of, totaling 12,984 pounds. And then there was 1,585 pounds of other miscellaneous electronics, most of which were computer towers. The WOW program, which is the city's organic waste recycling program, currently has 90 residents signed up for the program. There's an every other week pickup on Fridays and every week pickup throughout the summer. The anaerobic digester, which is what processes the organic waste, is up and running now year-round. In 2018, the structure was enclosed and is now solar powered with a solar array on the roof, which powers the entire digester. The digester takes in organic waste or food scraps and processes them, and this removes the organic waste from our usual refuse pickup, which lowers our tipping fees. Throughout the year, the sanitation department staff also complete other duties as assigned. They assist in the snow removal and lawn care throughout the city property, and they assist in the cleaning of municipal buildings, working on special events, cleaning the roadside bioretention units, and they assist the highway department in shaling alleys. For 2019, the expectations are to expand the refuse and recycling pickup, which we have already done, into Maplewood to help out Colony. And we're also looking to further quantify the benefits of the anaerobic digester and look to expand the program, which we'll be talking about a little bit further on tonight's agenda. So in a quick synopsis, that is the sanitation department and the operations and some statistics from 2018. Are there any? We can wait till the end and ask questions if we want. So I'll turn it over to Mark Cady, the supervisor for the highway department.
How are we doing tonight? Once again, my name is Mark. A lot of you know me as Hank around here. I have a 5-man department. Right now, we're down to 3, but we are hiring 2. There's a supervisor and 2 laborers in my department. We are in charge of maintaining all city properties, roads, sidewalks, alleyways, grounds, and we also assist in helping the recreation department, sanitation department, and the water department. And due to the roads, we salt them, plow them, fill potholes, and pave them. We have 7 plow trucks that work throughout the city during the storms. Usually I use 4 uptown and 3 downtown. Last year, we used 750 tons of salt. It was a very long season, very long. Paving, between the water project and the CHIPS money that we use for paving, we used 5 lane miles, they call it, throughout the city that got brand new paved through the roads. In regards to the alleyways, we shale them, they make them level so it's easier to drive through them and trim back trees. My staff also helps out the recreation department with cutting grass, weed whacking, setting up events, putting in and removing the docks out of the Hudson Shores Park. We also help with the sanitation department. If the guys don't show up, our guys go out there and help them. Within the water department, usually it's an emergency. We help them do water breaks, dig the holes, assist in refilling the hole, do whatever we got to do. We also help in code enforcement, secure buildings in the middle of the night or during the day, whenever we're called upon. Also at the garage, we have a vehicle maintenance program. Before a truck leaves the garage, it should be checked out. There's a sheet that we have to follow. We have a garage maintenance program to where overhead doors and fuel monitoring systems are checked every year. We also replace and install signs, all the signs throughout the city. That in a nutshell is what we do in a day in and day out basis. Thanks, Walt.
He's looking for something.
I know.
He's looking for something.
Thank you, Hank. And Bob Loya is here as the supervisor of the Recreation Department to give a breakdown of what the Recreation Department does and how many staff they have.
My name is Bob Loya. I am the working supervisor for the Parks and Recreation Department. I have allotted 20 hours a week for a part-time worker, usually a college kid, and they work mainly at the Dome through the winter and then throughout the parks throughout the summer. I have 5 areas that I logistically take care of. We start with the pool, the Dome, Hudson Shores Park, and then all the parks in the city. Last year, we did 6 main events. Breakfast with the Easter Bunny, Keep Philippe Neat Day, where we get volunteers to come around and clean the city in April, around Earth Day. This year it's on the 13th of April, by the way. We do the Memorial Day Parade. We do the Arsenal City Run. We now are doing the Halloween Parade in October, and we do the tree lighting. We also do 8 bi-weekly concerts down in Hudson Shores Park. When we get into the pool, we run Monday through Saturday in the pool, and on very hot days we'll keep it open on Sunday. But attendance on Sunday really doesn't warrant us spending money on payroll and electric. We saw a double in pool attendance this year, mainly because Troy had no running pools. And a lot, as I said, that pretty much doubled our attendance. We had one lifeguard assisted preventing a kid from going under. We did very well. Our lifeguards were young this year. We went with 12 staff, which normally we have 17, but there's not a whole lot of lifeguards around anymore. The Dome is open 7 days a week for use. We actually have heat in it right now, so a lot of people like to get in there. We do lacrosse from the county program, flag football, basketball, karate. We also have soccer, local soccer team in there. High school baseball uses it. Little League uses our facility. And then we have the remote control airplane people that come in and use it on Sunday afternoons. And they also provide a class twice a year, a 6-week class for young people to come in and learn how to fly airplanes and drones and helicopters and things like that. We take care of Hudson Shores. We deal with the boathouse, which is rented by RPI crew team, and there are a couple individuals that keep sculls and small boats in there. Throughout the year, we, as Hank said, we install the docks and we install the kayak launch. We maintain those pieces of equipment. We actually we actually put new decking on the dock itself, and this year we're finishing up the transition piece from the aluminum gangway to the dock, putting new decking on that. We do our concerts down there. We set up for those. We maintain the pavilion and the bathrooms for rentals. In most of the parks, we maintain the parks daily, make sure all the swings and all the equipment is safe. We turn the sprinklers on. Throughout the summer, we try to get those on by noontime, and there again, if I have somebody who's working in the evening, we'll turn it off a little later than 4, depending on the heat. We grow flowers during the winter for all the baskets that are throughout the city. Last year we did 95% of all flowers in the city were grown in the dome during the winter by myself. Some residents come in and help, guys from the water department, not very many highway guys. And we actually planted 100 trees from saplings last year. It'll be interesting to see how they weathered and how many we actually, have in the spring. But we did put in 100 saplings we got from Cornell Cooperative Extension. And we deal with the banner program. Right now we have 422 banners that we put up before Memorial Day and we take down after Veterans Day. We put in some new benches last year on Broadway. We have a few more benches that we're going to put down in Hudson Shores Park. And we're looking at, in 2019, construction of the bike path on Broadway, and we're getting ready for the Hudson Shores stabilization and amenity projects that we have down there. And I don't think I've forgotten anything. And they only gave me 5 minutes, so I'm done.
Thank you, Bob and Mark. Any questions from the council for any of the supervisors? I'll try to answer any questions about sanitation that you may have.
How many workers do you have?
In the summer,
Yeah.
I have we're going with 12 lifeguards, 1 pool attendant, maintenance guy, and then I have 1 at the dome.
Who does all the parks and the trees and the...
Whenever we can get guys from highway or sanitation, my 2 guys at the pool and the dome will also go out and do that stuff.
Mark, what type of technology or what kind of wish list do you have to make everything easier? I've seen a number of different programs out there for, let's say GPS for the trucks, where they're snow plowing so people can follow them.
Well, usually, when we snowplow up here, I run the same route constantly. New guys, Porsche guys, they should run the same route constantly, so people know went about, when we start, this is where we start, this is where we finish. A wish list for me would be actually a part to a loader that would actually make a big snowblower. Like that big orange thing that we have now, the big snowblower, that's basically obsolete right now. An attachment to that, to the loader, just an attachment, would be phenomenal. The plows right now, knock on wood, are running good. Everything that I have right now is running really good. So, a wish list, 2 guys coming hopefully in about 3 weeks.
And as far as the snow policy for the way it's working now, you think the snow policy, the way it's working now, you
Yeah.
think it's okay?
I think it works fine.
I mean, there's people looking at alternate sides, I don't know if it makes a big difference.
No, I
but-
think the way we're doing it now and the way we have been doing it, if we have to do a snow emergency, we have to do one, people are gonna have to move. Anything else after that, my guys work constantly, through storms, I'll stay straight through. If I have to, I just, get it done. I think that system works fine.
If there's no other questions, Mayor, that's all I have for reports, officers, and committees. Thanks to Mark and Bob for coming in tonight to give the presentation. At our next meeting will be a presentation by Chief Spain on police department operations for 2018.
Thank you.
Stay.
Oh, we're still ready,
Okay.
I'll take both these calls.
Okay, Scott, whole business.
In old business, we have a public hearing. Public hearing for the purpose of hearing those persons who wish to be heard regarding proposed local law number 2 for the year 2019. A local law to amend chapter 245, trees of the code of the city of Waterville.
Okay, we'll open the public hearing. Want to give an update on?
And so this local law is local law number 2-I. This specific local law is for a change in chapter 245 trees, more specifically 245-4B of chapter 245. That currently states the fee for obtaining said permit shall be $50 per tree, which must be paid upon filing of the application. And what has been presented is to change that language to say the fee for obtaining said permit shall be $50, which must be paid upon the filing of the application. So it was previously $50 per tree, now it states $50 per permit. So if you had 6 trees you needed to take down, you'd be paying $300 under the laws it currently states. With the change, you would only be paying $50 for the permit. And that is the only proposed change in the local law.
Okay, would anyone like to speak on that change to this local law? This is our second public hearing on it.
Mayor, if it's the trees in my yard, do I have to get a permit?
Public right of way.
Oh.
Other than that person speaking out of turn, does anyone else want to talk? Okay, we'll close the public comment period and move on to new business.
In new business, we have local law number 2 for the year 2019. A local law to amend chapter 245, trees of the code of the city of Waterville.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on to local law 2.
I second that.
We'll entertain discussion, and Scott, note that we had a public hearing and there was little or no comment on the change. Just a clarification. Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Councilman Petroselli.
In favor.
Councilman McGratty.
In favor.
Mayor Manning.
In favor.
Next, we have resolution number 9588. The council of the city of Waterville hereby authorizes and directs Scott P. O'Reilly, city clerk and clerk to the council, to advertise once in the official newspaper of the city that sealed bids will be received until 10 a.m. on March 15, 2019 for Phase 3 of the Water Distribution System Improvement Project.
I'd like to make a motion to accept resolution number 9588 as written.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
Yeah, so this is the final phase of our DWSRF, or Drinking Water State Revolving Fund grant that we received from the Environmental Facilities Corporation and the Department of Health. The first two phases were with the distribution system. We've done that over the last 2 years. This final phase replaces the old water tank that is up by Highland Club property and replaces it with a new upgraded pump station located on Wiswall Avenue. There's currently an underground pump station there that pumps the water up to the water tank, but this will replace that and will pump the water into the areas that the tank currently provides water for. There's also 4 additional alternate bids within this, and because this question was raised before, the alternate bids basically are additional options for the council to consider approving once we receive the bids, based on the cost of the work and the content of the work. Those additional alternate bids include recasting in concrete 2 pressure-reducing blow-off valves that are on the transmission main that come in from Guilderland to our service reservoir in Latham. Quite some time ago, one of these blow-off valves is located within the pine bush, and it did collapse because the concrete deteriorated off into collapse, and that was fixed. And so we have 2 more that are deteriorating, and so being proactive to have those fixed before we have any issues with those. So that's the first alternate. The second alternate is to place an aerator system or an agitator system out at the service reservoir. And again, this is an apparatus that goes in the middle of the service reservoir and basically continues to move the water around so it doesn't become stagnant water, helps to increase the quality of the raw water. The final 2 alternates in this bid are to place those same aeration type systems, but solar powered, out in Guilderland at the raw water reservoir that we get our water from and we provide water to Guilderland from. There's 2 alternates there. One is to place 2 aerators out there, the other one is to place 4. Again, giving the council the option of how many to place out there. All of these upgrades assist in the improvement of the quality of the raw water, which thereby reduces the pressure that is on the filter plant to process that water, and also reduces any byproducts that come from the process of that water. The new pump station itself directly affects the byproduct by no longer placing the water in the water tank where it's fed from. So this is the notice to bidders that the specs are available, will be available on Monday, and that we will be receiving these bids on March 15th, and we expect to have a recommendation to the council at the March 21st meeting for approval so we can begin this final phase of this water project. Long-winded, but covers everything.
What's the estimated cost of the project?
For this
What's the budget?
particular phase, it's about $750,000.
That includes all the alternates?
Yes.
And we have that available?
We do have that available. We're into the portion of the project where we're in the bonding portion of it. The project was a $3.8 million project, 2.2 of which was grant funded. This will put us just over, right around the $4 million mark for it, so it's a bit over the original budget for the project. A couple different reasons there. First reason, this grant was placed in 2015, so the inflation values, because we're now doing projects in 17 and 18, because this project wasn't approved until 2016, based off of that. And the other reasons that it's gone over, we've added additional work to it, which was to pave curb to curb rather than the trench paving, and so that was slightly additional cost to it. So that's why these alternates are placed in there, so the council can determine whether or not they feel that the cost is worthwhile for the operations that are being done.
This is just for the bidding though, correct?
This is just for the bid, yes. At the meeting on March 21st, I hope to be able to present a recommendation.
And it's sort of an analysis of the dollars versus the bonds and...
Yes. Yep. And break it all down financially with the
Right.
whole budget from everything that's been expended so far. Sure.
Call the roll, Scott.
Councilman Petroselli?
In favor.
Councilman McGrady?
In favor.
Mayor Manning?
In favor?
Next, we have resolution number 9589. Council of the City of Waterville hereby authorizes Mayor Michael P. Manning to use funding designated as program income pursuant to Community Development Block Grant Program for CDBG projects, and further authorizes Mayor Manning to utilize funds for an update to the Waterville Comprehensive Plan.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we move on resolution number 9589.
I second that.
Discussion?
So we've talked since December about program income grants. Program income is income that comes into the city from grants that has not been expensed to grants or paid back to the city from that. This is the third opportunity to utilize that funding that is available, and this is to update the city's comprehensive plan that's about 7 years old at this point. So a lot of the tasks in the comprehensive plan have been achieved, so it's time for an update to the plan.
Cost estimate?
Not to exceed $30,000, which after getting some thoughts from some of the companies that are out there that can provide this, we don't believe that we would be at that. It should be well below that.
Okay. Okay?
How's the input going to be made
Input.
from, into the consultants?
Well, we haven't put together an RFP for it yet. Input to the consultants, the comprehensive plan is usually driven by public and public meeting, public forum. So it would utilize that. That's how the original was done. It is an update, so it'll be a little bit less comprehensive than the original, but the public input is the main focus of it.
Okay, you're working. Okay. You all set?
Call the roll, Scott.
Councilman Petroselli.
In favor.
Councilman McGrattan.
In favor.
Mayor Manning.
In favor.
Next, we have resolution number 9590. Council of the City of Waterville hereby authorizes Mayor Michael P. Manning to file applications under the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation Municipal Food Scrap Reduction and Recycling Program.
I'd like to make a motion to accept resolution number 9590 as written.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
So this is a recent opportunity that was made available to the City of Waterville. It's a DEC grant to advance our WOW program that we talked about before, especially now that the anaerobic digester is up and fully operational year-round. There's multiple options within this, but this grant is due by March 1st, so we wanted to make sure to get it on the agenda for this evening to be able to apply for this grant. What this will do, what we're looking towards in this, is to have a specified employee to manage the program, track all the data, provide research and education, as well as outreach to other stakeholders. Looking to get hopefully an electric vehicle to be able to go around to pick up the food waste for the WOW program. And the main focus of this is to have somebody to provide education and outreach as to what the WOW program is and the benefits, and to continue and expand the program from where it's at now.
But some of this could be done in-house, or possibly could have been, or should have been done more in-house too. Could we have done more? I mean, right now you're telling me that we have 70 or 90?
90 people are,
90?
Yes.
I mean, that seems very low for the entire city.
Sure. Yeah, it's low. It's a pilot program with a pilot anaerobic digester that we basically built on our own with help from SKD out in Syracuse.
Right.
To help put it together. So it's a pilot program, get it up and running, get it operational. We now have some statistical data showing us what can be processed within this plant, and so now we can determine whether we can expand on it or not. But we had to stay below 100 to be able to start the pilot program to make sure that it had the capacity to be able to cover it.
Oh, it was, we couldn't exceed 100 residents?
We did not want to exceed 100 residents because we weren't sure of the capacity of it, and that was from the consultant. It was told for us to stay at 100 or below to make sure that it could hold the capacity.
It's
So
a person
volunteer.
prepared.
We haven't turned anyone away.
Correct.
We didn't have anything to do with the garbage, the waste.
So is there room to expand this program?
Yes. Now we can expand because the digester's running.
Yeah, so I thought the
Flow
original,
composting, which didn't work out too well.
well, I thought the original was that we were actually going to look to go to Troy and solicit, some of their recycling. That was years ago, because this program we've had, what, for 7, 8 years?
No.
I don't know. It could be that long.
Less than 5, 4 or 5 years, less than 5.
It's a good question.
I don't think it's less than 5, but that's all right. Well, I mean, I thought it was longer than that.
We've applied for grants to partner, because the grants require partnering, but we didn't receive those grants.
Certainly in favor of it, but I thought we could do more marketing of it, but if you had to be below 100, it's,
Well, we wanted to make, crawl before you can walk, make sure that the plant was operational, worked well. Again, we couldn't run it in the winter last year because it wasn't enclosed.
right.
So that was a big part of it. We were only able to run it for about 6 months. Now we can run it year-round, so that was much more feasible to be able to advance it.
Okay.
So, and this opportunity came to us right at the right time, so definitely advantageous to take advantage.
Excellent.
Okay, Scott, call the roll.
Councilman Petroselli.
In favor.
Councilman McGratty.
In favor.
Mayor Manning.
In favor?
Next, we have resolution number 9591, a resolution declaring the intent of the City of Waterville to act as lead agency for state environmental quality review purposes for the proposed Waterville Bike Path Connection Project.
Mayor, I make a motion that we move on this resolution.
I second that.
Discussion?
So this is the first step in the seeker process, or the environmental review process, in regards to the bike path. This would be naming the city as lead agency to determine whether there are any positive or negative environmental impacts by doing this project. So this is establishing or notice of intent to establish the city as the lead agency, or the council as the lead agency. This will be distributed to the other stakeholders that are involved in this for 30 days to receive comments as to whether or not they're for or against the city acting as the lead agency. Once that is determined, then the city can review what declaration they will make on this project, and we can begin to move forward.
Sounds good. Call roll.
Councilman Petroselli.
In favor.
Councilman McGratty.
In favor.
Mayor Manning.
In favor?
Next, we have resolution number 9592. Council of the City of Waterville hereby authorizes Mayor Michael P. Manning to file applications to the New York State Office of Attorney General for Zombie 2.0 property remediation grants.
I'd like to make a motion to accept resolution number 9592 as written.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
So this is labeled as 2.0 because this is the second round of grant opportunities for remediating zombie properties. The first round, the city was deemed ineligible for, which we, after reviewing, we still don't understand why we're ineligible, but be that as it may, we have another opportunity here. And so this application would be to provide a dedicated staff on zombie properties and work for the reduction of these properties. This includes tracking, monitoring, inspecting the properties, as well as maintaining them as needed to work to get them back on occupied and back on the tax rolls. So it would provide a staff at no cost to the taxpayers, and it would place these properties, hopefully place these properties back on the tax rolls, so to increase the revenue that comes into the city.
If I remember right, it wasn't there was a post office number that they received, and it was
Yes.
lower than the amount that they wanted, but it was not inaccurate or?
Correct, yes. We had to have at least 100 vacant properties,
100 something.
and they took the statistics from the post office, which I'm not quite sure how the post office would know whether or not it's vacant, other than just whether or not they delivered mail there. So at the time, we had over 120 vacant properties,
120.
and we are still at or above 100, so we still qualify for this. We spent a few weeks working with the Office of the Attorney General to be able to be qualified for this. They did send us the information, which is like a pre-application, sent that in. They said we are eligible to apply, and so this grant is due on March 8th. We do have a meeting on March 7th, but felt that it'd be better to get it out there now, have the council approval of a resolution, and we can turn in this application ahead of time.
Good.
Good.
Call the roll.
Councilman Petroselli.
In favor.
Councilman McGratty.
In favor.
Mayor Manning.
In favor?
Mr. Mayor, to the best of my knowledge, that's all we have in new business.
Appropriations and counting?
We have nothing.
Okay. Anything else before we go to public?
Just wanted to mention once again that on Monday at 6 p.m. here at the Senior Center will be the Bike Path informational meeting in regards to the bike path connection from the 4th Street Tunnel to 23rd Street. So any of those that are interested, please stop in and attend that meeting. Again, it's informational. The engineering consultant, Barton and LaJudas, will be here and presenting all the information for the design of the bike path.
Mayor, I just have a couple.
Sure.
There's been I don't know if it's a flurry of requests or issues going over with the land bank properties, and a couple of, issues going back and forth, whether or not they're eligible, how they're applying for them, and maybe some miscommunication here between the city. Can we talk about that later and try and get some of those resolved?
Sure.
All right, I mentioned a couple of them, I think you got an email on, but I kind of want to make it a little bit aware of them, that there's some people there that are kind of still in the air about what the status is. And I think it's just basically just miscommunication.
How to acquire the properties from?
Well, how to acquire, but they're in the process of trying to, and they're getting some information from the building department or from the economic department or whatever, and they land bank properties too.
Sure.
So I think it's worthwhile to sit down and kind of like look over that kind of policy. The other thought I had, or the other issue I wanted to bring up was you had the boiler replaced here.
Correct.
And the issue was the boiler just died.
Yeah.
Okay. You and I had talked about trying to get a couple of prices on it. Did we get any other prices beside the one that was awarded?
We did not receive any other quotes from anyone.
Okay. The other ones that I had asked to come came on 2 on Thursday and 2 on Friday morning, only to find out that the boiler was already being ripped out, so there was no opportunity for them to get some prices.
Well, they had Friday to give the prices, yes, or Thursday,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Well, Thursday is when I found out about it.
Correct, that's when we found out about it as well, yes.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to make the point is that I had communicated with you to try and get some prices, and naturally they can't drop everything on a Thursday to come over, so they came over, 2 came over Thursday to work on, or look at it, and then the other 2 came over on Friday to look at it, only to, again, to find out that it was already being ripped out Thursday night.
Correct.
Right, yes, I know.
Okay.
Okay. Well, my issue is that something to that effect, we probably should look into a little bit. I mean, I know it's an emergency, I know we needed to get it done, but a day or 2 didn't really make it that critical.
But a day or 2 to receive the quotes going into a holiday weekend did make
Yep.
it critical, because then we wouldn't have been able to get the work done until Tuesday, with temperatures dropping
Well-
tremendously on Sunday and Monday, so we had to move quickly.
None of those contractors are off on Monday. They all worked on Monday, so holiday was for us, but not for them, and like that. The only thing is I know that the boiler that they put in were 300,000 BTUs?
Yes.
Okay, and which is a little bit more expensive if you replace it with 1.
Correct.
Right, okay. Because the price that I got in a ballpark range was between 12 and 13.
For,
A one 500,000 BTU boiler.
just for the boiler,
Well, install it.
was $12,000 to install one.
13. That's
One
what, that's,
500,000 BTU.
and I can give you the name of it later to go and get over it. And I know that actually hit the way he broke it down for me, because I mentioned it, the 300,000, his figure close to that was around 20, especially if he had to do it like overnight and emergency type basis. So you were close between his price and your price if he did it the same way. So I mean, that wasn't it, but I was thinking about it as saying, if you actually had one, gave him a couple more extra days or something like that, to be able to do it, he would have had it in on time. It was great to have it in on and up and running by what, Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah, it was up and running Sunday.
Sunday, so, I mean, certainly that's great, but,
Yeah. Which we wanted it up and running Sunday because Sunday night's temperatures were dropping, so.
Okay. Okay, well, I just wanted to say, I think we could have been a little bit more, open with trying to get a couple of different prices.
We certainly can, and I think if it fell on a different day, we would have had a better ability to be able to do that, but with the holiday, and unfortunately I wasn't in Friday afternoon, so I couldn't wait any longer after Friday afternoon to get it. So once we received a quote on Thursday that said they could start right away, we decided to go with it.
If I was aware of that, I wouldn't have had it come.
Oh, I
Okay,
All right,
I'm sorry.
Scott, let's open the public comment period.
At this time, the council has authorized the public comment period. If you wish to address the council, you must step forward, state your name and address for the record, and you will have 2 minutes to address the council on any matters you wish. At the end of your comment, the council may reply or choose to reply at a later date, if they so choose.
Heather Shimkus, 1875 7th Ave, apartment 2. I just want to address the ongoing parking issues that we've had on the south side of 19th, where the salon is. Since they've expanded, we've had pretty much no parking whatsoever for any of the residents. There are over 20 vehicles, that's not counting any customers, that need parking, and there's not adequate parking. The lot in the back can maybe fit 12 to 13 cars, if that. And we've tried to meet with the owner, try to get some kind of resolution, and she's refused to meet with us. And she straight up said, we're just gonna keep parking on the street. I've had to park over a block away with my young child and groceries, and that's a nightmare to have to make one trip with a young child. It's not just me, it's every resident. I went out on the night of the snow emergency, and I had pretty much every resident on that first half of the block willing to get some kind of resolution. I told her there's the diagonal parking down the street in front of the liquor store. There's also the space available in front of Praise Shopper, which is for lease, which she could purchase and turn into a parking lot, but she didn't want to hear any of it. And it's been nothing but ongoing issues since she has expanded. She herself has 15 employees, including herself. And the amount of customers that they have, it's unbelievable. It's been nothing but a nightmare. One time I had to park down the street, not even the next block over, but in front of another resident's house, and she screamed obscene vulgarities in front of my son, and the very next day my tire was slashed. So this has been what we've been dealing with ever since the salon expanded. Prior to that, we had no issues at all. So if there's anything that you guys can think of, whether, I thought of maybe doing a permit resident parking only for that specific area or other areas in the city that have the same issue, that could generate revenue for the city, pay a $20, $25 per year for a permit for residents to be able to park in front of their home. We live here, they work here. Yes, they generate business, I understand that, but me, where I work, I have to pay $30 a paycheck or a month just to park to work. Right. So, well, it's about $15 a pay period, so about $30 a month.
She said extra 2 minutes.
Oh.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Tonight? Don Whitehead, 1921 8th Avenue, Waterville, New York. Approximately 7 months ago, the general manager requested guidance from the council on enforcement of the signage regulations for the fence along Interstate 787. Still haven't heard anything, gentlemen. Papa's Corner Restaurant, Admiral Cleaners, Luke Oil, all have been closed for better than a year. City regulation requires that their signs be taken down. Still up. Council has 2 councilmen and 1 mayor. There's been suggested on several occasions that the council be increased to 4 council members, 1 for each ward, and the mayor. It's proposed that instead of the council making that decision to amend the city charter, that they put a proposal on the next election and let the city residents make that decision.
They have to.
Come an election, would be a good time to do that. Let the residents make the decision. Charter has to be changed anyway. It still says we have 4 supervisors, which I've never met a supervisor yet. Thank you.
Paul Hughes, 108 15th Street. I was asked to come over on behalf of the seniors to just say thank you very much. Like you said on on Wednesday or Thursday, they realized that they didn't have heat. And, you know, they had already had people coming in and signing up for dinners on Tuesday and activities and stuff. And it was handled very, very quickly and efficiently, and they appreciated it very much. They have new heating that has Bluetooth in it, so they can call somebody and say, can you turn it up or turn it down? And they don't have people walking around messing with all the different things, and that's awesome. So that's all I have for that. The only other question I had is about the anaerobic digester. What is the byproduct of that, and is it something like a mulch that people could come down and get?
Yes. There is a solid component and there's a liquid component, and gas, methane gas. So now that it's running and we can expand it and have it run efficiently, we can look at doing something with that. Probably be mixed with something. It's not a high volume itself. So, but it could be a very potent fertilizer for sure. It's probably mostly nitrogen. So that's a voluntary program. The WOW program is voluntary. We've been running that way to keep it from expanding beyond our means. So as we expand that, we'll welcome more people to get involved, and suggestions like that would be helpful. We did have a RPI was using it this semester for one of their organic processing classes, and the instructor, who was a big help in getting it ready for expansion, passed away. So that set us back as well. So with this grant that was voted on tonight, we should be able to put the means in place to expand it. The focus would be on collection. Right now we're doing it kind of ad hoc, so now we can have some thought into that and expanding it. And this could be modularized, and it could be the future to taking less to the landfills. Won't help with bulk weed though.
Hope not.
Okay, anyone else tonight? Then we'll close the public comment period and we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that.
Clerk, call the roll.
Mayor Manning.
In favor?
Councilman Petroselli.
In favor?
Councilman McGrath.
In favor.
Meeting's adjourned.